Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Ça va bien? I'm just wondering, I'm going to do a little survey. Je veux savoir, est-ce qu'on a plus de francophones ou d'anglophones ici? Just raise your hand. I'm just wondering. I'm going to cater to the biggest group. So, donc, ceux qui veulent entendre la conférence en anglais, levez la main. Okay, those that want to have it in French, raise your hand. We have about the same amount of people. It's hard. Okay, I'm going to say it in English. Those that want to hear it in English, just raise your hand. Okay, good. Et ceux qui veulent entendre en français? Okay, so it's going to be English. Okay. Wonderful. I'm going to share my screen. I don't know how to. It says that I cannot share the screen. Oh, there we go. Share the screen. There. Couldn't do that before. There. Yay. Yay. Excellent. So today we're going to talk about, how to build a multilingual app using React. It's not very hard to do, and there are multiple ways to do it. There's no one proper way. Here I'm going to show one way using a component called LinguiJS. I kind of liked it. So who am I? I'm someone that started programming in the 80s when I was young. So, at that time, it was kind of hard, just changing the color. I had to write something like Poke 5467, something like that. It was kind of hard to do, but, I loved it. It was very interesting. So, I have feedback. There we go. just stay around. Okay, so I gave my first computer courses on Visual Basic at the time, and then I became a Microsoft certified trainer for lots of years, where I trained on .NET technologies, and that was great. It lasted a few years, until it didn't last anymore. Technologies come and go, and the market moves on, and then I had to do something else. So I decided, hey, I should get into that open source technology. Let's try and learn something new. And at the time, React was starting to get a lot of traction. And I said to myself, I'm going to give training on React. So I started a company called React Academy about a year and a half ago. And, I decided to offer a 2-day training on React technology. Now, this is not going to cater to you guys because most of you here are going to be experts on React. So probably you should not come to that training, but you may know someone, that needs to know a little bit about React. They need the React love. So if you know someone that's in that position, just offer them the code. I think there were some sheets that were offered at on the table. So if you just take one of those sheets, it tells you the code that you can use to have a rebate on the course. So it's kind of nice. It's a workshop, so we're not doing lots of PowerPoints. We're mostly doing, if you think about it, real coding. So we just, use Create React App and we start configuring our apps. And, we're building something that's going to be complete and wonderful. So that's really fun. And there you go. So these are a few people that, completed my training. That was fun. Okay. Woohoo. So multilingual means multiple things for different people. And there's, kind of a taxonomy on naming. For example, there's something called internationalization. And on websites, they call it I-18N because there's 18 letters there. So, and it's just about preparing an international web app. And then there are two other concepts. Globalization is doing the work for putting something plural, or number formatting or date formatting. And then there's localization, which means translating strings. And that's the part that's going to be a little bit harder. Why? Because we have libraries to do the globalization. But doing the localization means that someone has to translate. There's a translator behind that. So someone is going to come in and, write the text in different languages. And this can be done with, multiple people that are going to be on the translating team. So there's already something about globalizing with JavaScript that exists. Now, before we had the international libraries, there were, very limited ways of globalizing dates and numbers. In fact, most of the ways we had to write dates were using those methods. And as you can see, those methods are going to write and format the dates differently. But, and that's the big but, it's all going to be in English because JavaScript is in English. So that's not very good if you need to, put it in French or something like that. So ECMAScript created a new library called INTL for international. So they gave us some options where we can specify things like how we want to format the date using weekday, hour, time zones, and then we just had to specify when we formatted the language. So, using a format like French, we could, easily format a date this way. Well, that's kind of nice. I like that. And, if you can format dates, you can format numbers too. So using the same format, you can easily create something that's going to be, a numeric number there. So I like that. But now, if you leave globalization and you say, okay, let's leave that and, what can I do when I want to do something international using JavaScript? So there's a few libraries, and these are a few libraries that do exist. Now, the most popular one you can see is this one called Moment.js, because that one is a bit older than the others. It's a bit older, and it was used by Facebook. It was used to be able to just say yesterday instead of yesterday's date, or say something like a few moments ago if it happened a few moments ago. It's kind of nice. But, there's a lot of them that do exist and that are kind of nice too. Now, I'm going to work with this one down there because this one, is kind of new. It's kind of nice, and it kind of automated a few things that I liked about trying to translate things. Tooling is important for us React people. We want to, have it easy, have it simple, have it fast. That's what we want to do. That's why we like React. It's the speed. So I like the tooling in Lingui, so that's why I'm using it. There we go. This is the different React framework to translate or to help us with internationalization. So you have Lingui, React International, and a few other ones. I liked doing that research, but so there are different steps that we need when we want to do that. So there are different ways to go with this, and I'm just going to go very quickly through the slides, but then I'm going to go to the code just to show you the experience of trying to take an existing project and trying to make it, multiple languages and see how hard that can be. And since it's a live demo, there's going to be some, surprises, perhaps unexpected bugs. It's going to be interesting. I like doing those. That's the life of a trainer. You love just trying to get the demo gods to agree with you. Okay. Can people still hear me? I'm going to bring this closer so people on the internet can hear me. Okay. So we're going to install a few libraries. As you can see, there's a Lingui CLI for command line interface. And then there's, something like a macro one that's going to add some additional macros so that it's going to convert the JSX around to be compatible with Lingui. Then we're going to need Babel Core because, when we need to translate stuff, we'll need to use that. And then we have here the Babel Core bridge if we need to use the all libraries of Babel Core. Probably Lingui needs them. And then we have the main library, LinguiReact. That's, you know, the one doing the most work here. Wonderful. Then we're going to, you know, configure a few things in our app using a LinguiRC file that's going to configure. And then we're going to add some scripts right into our package.json file. We're going to create the languages using some tooling, this command line interface tools. And then we're going to put something in our app. We're going to then, you know, add a few things to our pages. And then we're going to translate those pages. And then we're going to just add them to our, you know, app.jsx. And then finally, we're going to get to questions because the demo is going to be over. So let's try to do that, you know. Okay. So let me go to a demo app. Just going to say yes here. And I'm going to say npm run both. We waited for a few seconds while it's starting the demo. And this demo is a regular kind of demo. It's really simple. It's just going to be using React with a little bit of routing. And, you know, there are different pages. Nothing too impressive. You know, I'd love to do one of those. What's our sponsor, the one with the trucks? Who's doing that? Is he still here? There you go. That seemed cool. I like that. What's the name again? Ah, yes, 123 load board. There we go. Okay. So this is the page. You can see there's a home page, an about page, you know, an employee page with a few employees there. Oh no, that doesn't work anymore. I had a typo there. Okay, I'm just going to solve that little typo. It's a simple one, but it shouldn't be there though. I did a few things just before coming in. Source, and then over here, employee. Which file was it? It's employee table. In employee table, I have a silly typo somewhere over here. T-body. I don't see the typo at all. Why is there a typo? It says props.employees. Oh, well, I'm just not going to use that page. I don't know why this happened. I did a git reset hard just before, just to be sure it wasn't there. But it seems that, you know, I couldn't go to the previous version. So there you go. So, okay. No worries. Okay, so I've got my little page with a few my pages, and I'm going to add using npm. I'm going to add the libraries that are needed. So I'm going to say npm install, and then I'm going to get those libraries over here. I'm just going to copy this, paste it. I should do that. It's going to work. It's working. Now I'm doing, you know, casting at the same time, so I don't know if it's going to, you know, be very fast or very slow. That looks very slow. Man, perhaps it's not going to be a live demo as a slow demo. Oh, there we go. It's kind of now going. I guess someone stopped, you know, downloading something on the internet. Okay. Oh, I'm installing npm. Are you serious? Man, that's bad. I'm installing install too. I didn't look at what I was doing. Okay, I'm going to imagine that's going to be okay. I'm just going to go to my, what's it called again? To my package.json and just see if everything looks okay. So the dev dependencies still haven't been updated. Yeah, you're right. It's installing npm. Okay, let's remove that. I'm going to uninstall those two, and then I'm going to remove. I don't need to install the those ones though. Just the npm and the install one. There we go. That should work. It's always longer to uninstall. I don't know why. Loading all depths, blah, blah, blah. Okay, while it's doing that, I'm going to get this other line out of the way here where I'm going to install Lingui. And they have a very nice website with documentation, I have to tell you. Let me show you that. If I type LinguiJS, like that, yeah. And here we are on their website, and I can go to their documentation. And as you can see, they've got lots and lots of documentation, and you can configure Lingui to work with, you know, basic JavaScript or with React or React Native. So here I'm going to do mostly React, but this works with React Native too, and works pretty well. Okay, good. It's been done. I've been able to remove those 2 extra packages, and I'm going to be a little bit more careful next time. Okay, so just before going on, I'm going to do the npm install here. There we go. It's installing. While it's doing that, I'm going to go to the next step, which is going to add a LinguiRC file in the root of our app. This is going to say how we're going to create all of our localization files. The localization files are going to come from our own application, and we're going to take all of those, look at all the strings that we need to translate in them, and then we're going to generate files in this special directory called locales. Now this can be configured, you know, different ways. This is the basic one from the tutorial, so not very hard. So I'm coming over here. I'm going to create this file called LinguiRC and specify these things. Wonderful. Excellent. So it created what we needed. It's already there. Now that I've done this, I'm ready to use the command line interface. So if I, you know, type just npm run, you'll see that, oh, just before doing that, I'll need to go over here and add those 3 scripts. So add locale, extract, and compile. So these scripts are there to help me work with Lingui. So as you can see, we've got the add locale, the extract, and the compile. There we go. So we'll do that. So I'll just come over here to package.json. I find my script, and over here I'll just add the 3 lines that we just saw. Well, didn't work because I didn't copy them, I guess. Let's try it again. Copy, paste. There we go, it worked. Now that I have that, let's work with this. First of all, I'm going to write something called Lingui extract. Tell me what's the status of Lingui right now. So if I type this, it's npm run extract. There we go. That's what I wanted. There. So it says that when we run this extract command, it's going to fail because it says no locales defined. And to be able to get the locales, I need to run this command. So I'll do that right away. I'll just, you know, take this and type this, npm run add locale. I'll add English and French, 2 languages. Wonderful. Now, if I try to run this, npm run extract. So if I write npm run extract, it's going to look at how things are configured right now. It's going to look at all my source code, and it's going to say, hey, according to your source code, you have nothing to translate, either in English or French. There's nothing to translate yet because we're not using anything that has to do with Lingui in our files. So now I'll need to modify the way my files are written. So that's the next step here. So I've already done the add locale where I'm adding a few languages. I've already checked the installed with extract. So I come over here and I'm going to add this line to app.jsx, and I'm going to add a new route to app.jsx. Let's do that right away. I'm going to do this, get my import from app.jsx. You can see it's here. I'm just going to paste this over here. Wonderful, it's done. Next part, I'm going to get this new root that I need. And I'm going to put it here in my, I'm just going to lower this, only this. There we go. So that's my render method, and I'm going to add a new root. There we go. We're going to close that root. I'm just going to close the tag. And once the tag is closed, I'm going to reformat using Shift-Alt/. That didn't work the way I wanted to. Okay. Oh no, it's Shift-Alt-F, sorry. There we go. Okay, good. Wonderful, it's reformatted. Now that I've done this, I'm going to now add a few trends in some of my pages. So I've got my home page and my about page. So let's do that. I'm going to go first to my home page, which is a very simple home page, as you can see, very simple. And I'm just going to add here on the top a new import. That import is my trans tag. And this is what's going to get translated. Without this, translation is not available. I'm going to do this. I'm going to then add my translation tag, doing this. Trans, with it uppercase T. It's going to be helpful. There we go, trans. And I'm going to close this just over there. And we'll do the same thing over here. Here, let's close it there. Okay, wonderful. It's done. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the about page. So the about page is about the same. Very, very simple page too. So I'm going to do this and this and this and this. Wonderful. We're done. Oh no, we need the import up there. Sorry. Import trans from, and over here we're just going to specify at LinguiReact. There we go. Done. Now that I've done this, I can, just try to write npm run extract. We're going to run this, and now we're going to get a new command that's going to be running. Come on, come on. There we go. So this is what it's been doing. It created for me a new catalog where it says, hey, I'm going to create a new catalog with 4 entries in English and 4 entries in French, because that's what I've been doing. Two strings for the English one and 2 strings for the French one. Wonderful. So where did they produce that? Well, if you remember, the destination when we configured was in something called locales. So if I take a look at locales, let me check this. I'll have to refresh, I guess. Refresh my source. Locales. There we go. Locales is here. And here we've got English, French, and we've got this format called PO, which is a standard format for translators using different tooling in JavaScript. So if I go with the one in English, you can see it created a few ones for the about page and the home page and the about page. There we go. And I'll go to the other one in French, and I'm going to translate it, because here we've got IDs, and these IDs are the same string as the source, and the message string is going to be the translation. So I'm going to just write the French translation for about. Let's put here, let me put myself in French keyboard. It's going to be easier to put the accents in. So there we go, apropos. And the home page will be called Accueil. There we go. And this other message, it will be ceci est la page à propos. And this ceci est la page d'accueil. Very, very simple messages, as you can see. And once we've done this, I can save this and run extract again. When I run LinguiExtract, it's going to run again. And now it's going to notice that, you know, for the French translation, we've got 4 strings, then there's none missing. So, you know, we finished our French translation. Now, if there's something missing, by default, we can configure what's going to happen. We can either have a generic string saying, oh no, something is missing, or we could have a default languages saying, okay, just take the English message instead. You know, so we can configure different ways. Wonderful. So once I've done this, and I'm proud of myself, I'm just going to go to the compiler. What is that? Well, we need to take those PO files and generate JavaScript files, because PO files can be, you know, used with the tooling for translations, but it cannot be used with, you know, React. React needs JavaScript. So I'm going to do that right away using npm run compile. That's the third and last command line. There we go. So now we've got a message.js and another one, message.js, one for English, another one for French. Wonderful. If I look at the French one, you can see here it's like minimized component with, you know, all of my translations for my language. Excellent. Done this. I am happy. Things look bright. Next step. I'm going to, by the way, is there a lag when I'm typing? No? Okay, good. I was just wondering. Okay, let me go over here. And now I need to, I've already done this. This is the next slide. Okay, I created the JS files. I ran the compile. I need to modify the catalog. Yeah. So the next part to modify the catalog, I need to do this. I need to import a few more. I need to import those 2 JavaScript files in my app.js. So let's do that right away. So I'm going to my app.jsx file here. I'm going to go on the top here and, you know, I'm going to import those 2 files that I just created, the one in English and the one in French. Then I'm going to create a constant that's going to refer to those two files. And I can have 3 files, 4 files, you know, one for each language. So I could have one in French, one in English, one in Espanol, one in Japanese, Chinese, and so on. So I'm going to come over here and we can see I just need to specify a default language and a catalog. So let's do that right away. That's the last part. So over here, I'll take this, I'll paste this in, and now oh, sorry, it's not catalog written this way, it's written this way. I don't know why. There we go. There we go. That's the right way of writing this. So I'm going to get the French language from, you know, the catalogs that are over here. Wonderful. And then when I'm going to take a look at the result, I'm just going to type localhost 3000. I still have the home page. This is because I need to put English in, I guess. Why isn't it working the way I was expecting it to? Okay, far in. No, that looks good. Let me just put this way just to see if it works. I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, failed to compile. That doesn't work really. It needs the needs a reference to the object. That's good. So yeah, okay. Just move this around because I cannot see what I'm typing. Okay, good. So the about page is now empty and the home page is not working the way I was thinking it was. So why is that? Come on. Yeah, let's try the EN one. Yeah, let's try it. So if I put EN here, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh no, I need to pass in an object that's going to refer to the language, and then it's going to choose which language. So that's the way that this provider works. So it needs a catalog. So it does need the catalog, but this should have worked. But let's try it with the English one. So if I try it with the English one, and let me refresh this. Still, yeah, I'm going to try a full reload. You know why? Because I'm pretty sure that there's some caching involved right now. Am I still running it? Yeah, I'm still running it. Yeah, so I'm going to stop running it and try it again. And the reason why I think it's because of all the NPM that I installed. You know, remember I installed a few things that I never restarted the server. So I think a few packages where it's simply not loaded, because hot reloading can only do so much. Oh, really? So there's something that I can do without, where I don't have to reset my, okay. So this is the home page. This about page is still empty. Let's look at my about page. I'm kind of wondering what's in there. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So that's what we call collaborative debugging. Thank you. Not needed that. So good. It's still not working the way I was expecting it to. I refresh, Control R, I do. The about page is not rendering anything in English. And if I go to French here and I try it, that works in French and doesn't work for about. So it does work, half of it. So let me look at how I wrote the about page. So Lingui macro, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. So that was the reason why. And now I refresh this. It says, there we go. And now it's in French. Woohoo! So thank you everyone for the group debugging. You are great people. So this is 7:30, right on time. Wonderful. So the last slide in my talk is questions, comments, you know, so it's always great. So people are going to be, you know, finding this more interesting on the web if you can talk on the mic. So there we go.
Hi. So I'm guessing since you're using Lingui, you had a chance to compare it to some other solutions, and that's the one you think is the best, that you like the best?
The word like is kind of like a little bit overrated. It's the one that I hated least. There we go. Like any solution, you know, I'm always like, no, this could be more streamlined. This could be better. You know, if this doesn't handle, for example, they have a huge modules about putting things in plural, because, you know, in French and English, putting things in plural needs an S. Now, plural seems very simple, but it's way harder than you think, because in certain languages, like I think in Arabic, you know, you've got multiple kinds of plural. Like, you know, a dozen is not written the same way like a lots. So I was kind of amazed about that. And because of that, you know, Lingui does do the pluralization. Wonderful. But here in French, we've got something about, you know, having something that's going to be masculine, feminine, and it doesn't do that. You know, trying to for the gender issues, it doesn't do anything. So, but that's okay. I guess it's kind of worms. So there you go. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hello. About these messages files, they can go real big. And are you gonna include every language? Like you load the page and you have all the string of all the language in one shot, or is there like some?
So they have a wonderful example on their website. So if I go back to their website over here, just going to type LinguiJS. Where's my? It's not there anymore. I'm going to type it LinguiJS. I'm going to do a Google search. It's going to be easier. There we go. I go here, I go there. So on their website, they have a great example about how to do that using Redux. And it's dynamically loading of translation. There we go. So the dynamic loading of translation means that we're going to lazy load the languages. So if we don't need a language, it's not going to get downloaded. Now they're doing that using some third-party libraries, and they're not using the new lazy keyword that came in React a few months ago in November. Anyone used lazy loading with React? Fun. I liked it. I used it recently. So their example is not using lazy, but I'm sure that it could be rewritten using lazy because it's just about loading dynamically the right language. And when someone switches language, it's going to load the missing libraries. Anything else? Follow-up question.
Yeah, follow-up question. Actually, it's the same question, but instead of cutting through languages, which is like an obvious one, powerful thing it would be powerful if you could actually cut per section or area of your program, like modules and chunks and stuff. Do you understand? Instead of having the whole strings, because this is big. I mean,
yeah. So I created a single point in my app.jsx, a single what's it called? Internationalization, I think. Just let me get over here. There we go. So it's called internationalization provider. So I just had one in the root. But if you need to cut that up, then you could say I'm going to have one per page. Each page is going to be different instead of having a root one. Can you have both? Yeah, you can, and it's going to get the closer context. But the thing is, it's a context, so that means you cannot go back to the root. Each time you're going to define one that's a little bit lower, it's going to kind of There's a fallback mechanism for the languages. So if there's something that's not translated, you can go back, for example, to the default one that's English. That's the way Lingui is going to work. So there's another question over there. I'm just going to bring, I only have 25 feet of wire. Let's see if something breaks.
Hello, hi. I'm wondering how it behaves if we change the original string that's used as an ID and then extract again.
So if we modify the original string of the ID, we need to run extract again. So it's going to essentially forget our old translation, which is not so bad because if you think about it, if we change the original one, probably we need to translate it again. But that's what's going to happen. So let's try that right away. I'm just curious. So I'm going to come over here with about. I'm just going to change, saying about page. Just do this, yay. And let's see what's happening here when I extract a new. So I'm going to npm run extract. It's working hard. And now it says that I'm missing one translation in French. And it's still kind of considering the original one, like the original string is still translated because it should be 4, it should not be 5. So this is interesting. So if I go to my profile now, here messages.po that's the one in French, you can see that I still have the original about, yeah, I have the original about page. It's not been deleted, but I've got the new one, which is empty. Now I need to put something. I'm going to just copy this and put it there. And I'm going to put a few, there we go. There, now it's done. Is that understood? Yeah. So you still have the original one. And once I've done this, I need to run the compiled thing using compile. There we go. PM compile, it's going to compile the JavaScript, and now I'm done. And now if I go look at my website over here, if it's still running, I'm not sure if it's in the cache or it's running. It worked in French. There we go. Any other questions? So the question is there a way to clean up that? And perhaps there is, there's a lot of command options that, I just ran the scripts very straightforward. And they've got, lots of things about, optimizing and so on. And I haven't had the chance to, use them all. So I wouldn't be surprised that there's something to clean them up. I wouldn't be surprised because it's not a hard programming problem. And, it can, those files can get polluted after a while. So you're right. Anything else? Wow, you've been, oh, no, we do have a question. Nicholas, you'll have to come up here. You're a lucky guy. Great, wonderful.
Is it possible to have some kind of variables into the translation? Like, for instance, there is 10 results, or do you have to translate there is and results and put the dynamic part?
No, you can put the dynamic parts. Yeah, it works. So, if you ever have in your, for example, you're using those curly brackets and you're putting a JavaScript expression right there. Yeah, it's going to be in the translation, and it's going to regard this very well. It's going to work. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, someone else.
What's up? Hi. So when you extract, it makes a PO file and it keeps track of which lines to translate based on line number, right? It seems that way. What happens if the line number changes, like you add a new line and your code gets shifted down? So if you change the lines, but you're not extracting again, it's not going to do anything because those lines only get generated when you extract. So when you extract, it's going to look at the source code, extract them, and I guess it's just going to generate a new comment saying, where the line is. That's my guess. But let's not guess. Let's try it right away. I mean, it's an easy change to do. I'm just curious myself. So let's say that I'm going to go to my About page over here, and I'm going to just put a few enters here. Now it's going to be on line 11. Am I going to break something? So npm run compile. It's working. It's done. Let's do the, oh no, I'm sorry, the extract first. I'm sorry, the compile is after. First extract, there we go. It just recompiled the same one. So it's extracting, blah, blah, blah. So it's still, seeing that we have only 5 of them. And let's see if it's now the message.po over here. Let's see if it's now, see, it was corrected. The about page is there, line 11. The old one at line 7 is still there. I don't know why, but this one worked and it was updated. You get that? Okay. Yeah, you need to extract every time there's an update, you need to extract. Yeah, that's the way this system works. Yeah, it's a comment. Yeah, the reason why the comment is this way is because it's for the tooling for those people using tooling for translation. Now I'm just using a simple text editor, but your translator people may be using like a translating suite that's going to translate for them using those files. So they may be using that line reference. Oh, very good question. What happens if, is it going to, my guess, is that it's going to do it twice because I don't think it's going to compare and see, is that the same H2 as before?
I would doubt it, but let's try it. Let's test the system. I'm going to copy this twice. So my guess is that since, yeah, but you're right, the ID will be the same. IDs need to be unique. Yeah, so they're going to be merged. Yeah, it's going to be do a lookup at the ID. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm curious. So let's do the npm run extract over here. We're working hard. What's going to happen? Wow, it did combine them. There we go. So mystery solved. Now, which, is it going to take line 10 or 11 in the comment? That's a good question too. While we're at it, let's look at what's happening here. So it took them both. There we go. We have 2 comments there. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, we have another person that's going to say there's a problem there. Okay. You're very right. So Aboud said, perhaps in certain languages, we'd want to translate this differently the second time. And yeah, you're right. In this case, since they have the same message ID, it wouldn't work at all. So there are ways to specify a different message ID for the second one. And how would you do that? I'd add an ID to the translation over here I'd do something like the second one. I'll say ID equals, and I'd put something else like about second, for example. There we go. Oops. I'm with my French keyboard. Sorry about that. I'm going back to the English one. There we go. About second. There we go. You get how that would work. So the second one could be translated differently. And I'm not sure the keyword is ID. I just popped that out in my head. The documentation would say probably what it is. It's ID? Okay, good. Anything else? Yeah. You know what? I think there is some way to do it. I've seen that in certain comments when I was reading about this. I don't remember if the website itself, the documentation talks about it. So if I go back to the Lingui website over here, is there something about watching? I don't see anything. The Webpack loader, where is that? It's down. There we go. So over here, there's probably something about, yeah, a Webpack loader which compiles messages on the fly. Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone here worked with Lingui before? Or doesn't work with Lingui and likes something else better? Yeah. He doesn't want to say which one he uses, like.
React INTL, you mentioned it before. Yeah, we translate 20 languages at my job, and we do almost the same. It's the same process. Yeah, it's the same syntax as well. So if you want to migrate from React INTL to this library, it's smoother. I think it's meant to be like a replacement. I think the guy who made this on Twitter, he says that. So yeah. And but same process. And what you say before, usually maybe it's cool to compile every time, but usually at my job, it's you implement your new feature or your new page, and at the end you prepare the file to the translator. You don't need to do that every 5 minutes. It's really something like, okay, my page is done. Copywriters in English have confirmed the content, and everything is valid, and you send it to translation because, for example, for 20 languages, it's a lot of money. Each word is one cost, so you really prepare everything, and when it's ready to go, you send it to the translation company. After, I mean, it's how we do that in my company. Yeah. What's the name of your company? Ubisoft. Voilà.
Wonderful. Any other questions? We have to wrap up because, Kenza, did you just do a sign that we have to wrap up? Yeah. Okay. So we have to wrap up because there's still pizza left that, you know, they don't want to, you know, bring them, I said there are pizza left. I don't even know, but let's hope so. So have fun, enjoy yourself. You were a wonderful crowd. I hope to see you in one of my training one day, or if not, one of your friends or one of your parents. You know, your mom always wanted to learn React, you know, so it's time she comes and sees me. See you soon. Bye.